All right, welcome everyone to what is the round two of playoffs, spring split overview. Fnatic has unfortunately bowed out of the tournament of the playoffs after a grueling 3-0 defeat against Schalke, which I can definitely say was not expected, even though I did have a bit of my doubts on Fnatic's performances. Um, yeah, I still hope that we would win. So that's the split over for us, unfortunately, and that's why this show will be a bit special this time, where instead of usually having the new format where I have one guest coming on and sharing everything about them, what they're doing, what makes them a fan, their opinions on the past week's games. I thought we would do maybe an overview not only of the LEC as we do traditionally, but also of Fnatic, not just their performance from last week, but of the season as well. So maybe a bit of a longer Fnatic segment this time. So it will be the opportunity to have different people here on the show to voice their opinions, obviously, on last week's games, what you thought about Spring Split, maybe some highlights you'd like to share, your thoughts going into obviously the off season and into Summer Split, what you think needs to be done, and what you're hoping to see from Fnatic going forward. So a bit of a overview of our topics for today. Obviously, getting ourselves started with how do you call it, with the weekend's performances, and make sure that you share all of your opinions on the community podcast. Checking this, I don't have double screen, so I'm using my phone right now that I need to make sure that it's not going to sleep every time. But I'm keeping an eye on what you have to say, and if you want to be brought onto the show to share your opinion, if you wanna share something you'd like to talk about, no problem at all. The space is yours. But yeah, this week's performance, obviously we started last Friday. Schalke against Fnatic, which was a bit of a tragic situation. For me, at least, it felt like we were back to week 8 performances. Not to sound completely mean and disrespectful, but it felt like our players got infected by COVID again, because it felt like we were back to week 8. Completely disjointed in our approach to the game. No idea of how aggressive we want to be, and for me, what was really surprising is that it felt like we never respected the level of performance that Schalke was able to bring onto the table, in a sense that we saw what they were able to do against G2. And you can say whatever you want that G2 wasn't playing at their best in the round one whatsoever. For me, that's a bit bullshit. I mean, the guys were 2 rounds ahead, and they didn't necessarily say, "Oh, we're just going to give 2 games and play it out on the fifth one." So Schalke definitely switched the flip. No, flip the switch. Whoop, there we go. Flip the switch on that one, and gave a great performance to G2, and they were definitely going in very hungry into the next round, feeling that they could have probably won that fifth game, and they had everything to prove. Especially you're talking about a team that has Gilius. This man has obviously the ego that we know, but he has a lot of energy to give, and a lot of things that he wants to prove constantly, that he's still at the top level after all these years of bouncing from one team to another, and being brought in. And it feels like, well, at least at that moment, it felt like he wanted to be able to go even further in the losers bracket, and maybe go back to facing G2 at one point. So obviously we got completely destroyed on that one, and then going into Saturday's performance, Mad Lions versus G2. Uh, from the conversations that I was having from different people in the community and people like watching the LEC in general, I don't think, and maybe I'm mistaken, and if you did guess it, congratulations, you're a genius. But in my opinion, I don't think anyone in their right minds had guessed that Mad Lions was actually going to bring in the performance that they did against G2. They were definitely really impressive against Rogue. They won 3-1 in a sort of convincing way after losing pretty hard the first game against them. But after that, they showed control. They showed a lot of skill as well in general, and they came in the G2 game wanting to showcase that it wasn't a fluke going against the Rogue, but they actually are at that level. So Lydon saying I'm gonna look up everyone that predicted Mad Lions and call them out. Yes, please do that, because I doubt anyone has actually. I mean, there's probably some people who hate G2 to their core and would never vote in favor of G2, which I can understand completely. But from there to actually predicting Mad Lions in a non-troll way, I think there's quite a margin, quite a distance on there. But nonetheless, Mad Lions definitely had a very strong showing here, and they're heading to the finals. Like, who would have guessed? We know, like, G2, we say they're in their comfort zone going through the losers bracket, but that would be usually facing, I guess, the other team. It's not the first time that actually Mad Lions sends G2 to the losers bracket, but I think this time we have a much stronger Mad Lions. Elyoya is, for me, definitely top two junglers. Going into this playoffs with Inspired, super strong, and with that, I think for me, who was the biggest surprise out of all of this is definitely Armut. For the people who maybe followed the first pilot episode of Inside Fnatic's Brush, you will have known that I was kind of skeptical on what Armut was actually going to provide to Mad Lions. I initially thought that the transfer of Armut to Mad Lions in exchange of Orome, well, not in exchange, because Orome didn't go to Turkey, but obviously taking Orome out was kind of like a knee-jerk reaction, because Mad Lions had lost to the team in which Armut was, who's like, oh, we're just gonna take the guy that beat our top laner, and that's how things work. You just take the guy that beats your player 1-to-1, and you suddenly upgrade your team. So I thought it was actually kind of a funny concept, and I was like, Armut might be an upgrade, over Orome, but how much of an upgrade really is he? Is he gonna contest with the top guys like the Wunder and the Odoanes, or is he just gonna be like a somewhat consistent top laner, doesn't bring much but doesn't into much, so like maybe more of a top 5 top laner? And I mean, during the playoffs, I don't know if he has a playoff buff or something, but he's been one of the top players for sure, especially on his Gnar. He's been really impressive. The team fight in the last game around the bot lane river, around the brush, where he gets like a 3-man stun, completely wins them the game and closes it out for Mad Lions to win it all. And he's been like a staple, in my opinion, for Mad Lions. So obviously, as they're going into the finals, it will be interesting to see how they deal with the stress of being in a sort of finals environment. And the other thing I'd like to talk about, obviously, is Rogue going into that losers bracket finals against G2. Rogue, who have come back in form, really, against a poor showing against Mad Lions. Everyone, I guess, well, I'd say a majority of people were expecting Rogue to go forward after the very strong split that they had, only coming in second to G2, but showing like amazing performances throughout the split, and we're not really solid against Mad Lions. Apart from the first game, they didn't really showcase anything. Even with Larson being on his Azir comfort pick, we didn't see anything impressive from them. In exchange, obviously Schalke, having already done a first best of 5, the shortest version, they only played 3 games, so the talk, I'd say, around maybe burnout of doing a first best of 5, I don't think applies as much as if they did a full 5-game best of 5. Instead, they had 3 very short games in which they were in control, and Fnatic didn't really make them sweat that much. So, it's interesting to see in which mindset Schalke went into the game against Rogue, but I think Rogue came in well prepared. They won, 3-1, I believe it was the final score. Can someone confirm this for me? Or was it another 3-0? I can't remember for some reason. But yeah, one of the two really, and Rogue looking a bit more solid going into G2 in the losers bracket finals, and we'll see really if we get the solid Rogue against still a sort of weak-ish G2, who decided to put Reckless on more of like support casters type champions instead of the regular ADCs, which I don't think was really a massive issue when you think about it for G2's performance. I think their problems lied definitely somewhere else than just, Reckless is not playing his Kai'Sa, his Senna, his what else is in there? Sivir, Xayah. He's shown that he can play Karma before. He played a very good Seraphine as well. We'll have to see how G2 adapts, knowing their performances, especially when they're in losers bracket. They suddenly become a different beast, and they become way stronger for some reason. So I would still obviously favor G2 against Rogue, but it'll be interesting to see actually how Rogue goes into the match against G2, and will they be even stronger than they were against Schalke, or is G2 just going to be again a whole different beast, and they're going to stomp Rogue and say, okay, we just want to go to the finals and we want our rematch against Mad Lions. So it'll be interesting to see on Friday which Rogue and which G2 we have, and then obviously the finals is going to be a big show. Obviously without the crowd, a bit of a shame, but not the first edition in that situation. But nonetheless, I think whoever ends up in finals against Mad Lions will have a very interesting best of 5, and it's a bit exciting in a sense to think that potentially we could have a finals without Fnatic or G2, or should I say Fnatic and G2 actually, both of them. So we could potentially since summer split of 2014, if I'm not mistaken, have a new champion that isn't Fnatic or G2. So I'm actually interested in reading you guys' opinions about this. I'm seeing a few people commenting here. Upset said if Mad wins it will be a 3-1 on the 4. Yeah. ADC's picks were fun. It was just something with their macro. Yep. I hope so. Mad Rogue would be interesting. Don't forget Elements did, or it was Alliance. Yeah. Elements was actually back in 2015 when Reckless joined, and they were supposed to have this superstar roster, which completely crashed and burned, which makes me think of that debate around superstar teams where they've never really been that successful, and obviously you could easily argue that now G2 has one of those teams. It's actually kind of weird because I guess they became superstars because they've had such a strong performance, but it's not like a team where they brought in 5 players that were all superstar, a bit like Origin did by bringing in like the Upset, Alfari, and the Yuktak, and it completely crashed and burned. G2 obviously is like a more of a long-term superstar roster thing. Even if they brought Reckless and Capped, it's at different times. So I don't know if we can necessarily talk about this type of sort of superstar roster per definition. But I know, like, if you look at NA in Europe, every time there's had those specific teams that were when they brought in like 4 or 5 players that were the best or some of the best in their role. It didn't mesh well together. The Misfits roster was so as well. When they brought in Gorilla and things like this, you're like, oh my god, they're just going to win everything. And it was a terrible, terrible experience for all those involved. So, yeah. Would anyone from the podcast here, from the team here, would like to bring in any opinions, voice their highlight moments, maybe something they'd like to share about the LEC performances from the past week? Just raise your hand if there's anything you want to talk about. Otherwise, we'll move on to Fnatic. I have a short comment. Yes, Lidden, absolutely, be my guest. You can actually unmute yourself. Sorry, we're talking with the mod here, so
This is
please
my
go.
server.
this is my show now. It's like overtaking. Go ahead, Lidden.
Nah, but, like everything I was thinking, like the thing I was thinking about is mostly just our roster,
Mm-hmm.
not the performance. Because I mean, I think just as self me put on Twitter, we didn't deserve to go further.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think we deserve to come as far as we did, to be honest. But like, I'm so concerned because we've seen these issues for like so many years now, and I feel personally that these issues came when a certain top laner joined the roster,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and they're not going away. Like everything else is changing, coaching staff, other players, in other positions. I mean, but this issue remains, and so does this top laner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird because we get these new coaches, and I'm always like, okay, maybe they will try and fix this issue now, or maybe they will try to talk to the team to get another approach to how they play the game. But I just feel like we don't, like, they try new stuff, but I always feel like it comes back to us inting it. Like that's the way we lose, by inting it mostly. So I don't really know what has to happen for us to change it up as well. And on top of this, I read something about Dylan. He made a comment on a podcast, I think. I didn't see it myself. I saw a title where he said that Fnatic right now was like super one-dimensional, and it was so easy to prepare for us because of this. So like, I just hope they shake something up, and I don't mean they need to replace someone, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that they can get through to the players to practice other things and let go of their philosophies and like how to play the game. And in my opinion, especially top lane and support, then, because I feel like they have this philosophy that like they need to fight for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, I think all of us, most of us, think that it's okay to hit the break sometimes and play it patiently and see what you can do instead of just fighting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my thoughts. I won't go in. I don't want to go further into it, but yeah.
No,
That's what I think.
It's a good point, and I like that you bring the Dylan comment, because it also makes me think about a comment from Yamato, who, when he was kind of introducing like his philosophy and his approach to the team and how he wanted to work, and one thing that actually stuck with me is that he explained, and he made it very, very clear actually, that One thing he wanted to avoid with this roster was to actually be one-dimensional. He wanted to play every style possible, and he thought that was attainable because the champ pool and the willingness to play a wide range of styles was actually present within the players that create this team. And he did put forward some examples, as we saw, Niski playing other control mages, but also willing to play stuff like the Aurelia, for instance. And we know that Niski has played beforehand stuff like the Rumble in the mid lane, so we know he's quite flexible. Bwipo has spoken for himself that he's willing to play anything, and when he had his big rant about his previous teammates saying that he couldn't play Renekton because that wasn't a pick that was really appreciated by some of his former teammates, but he was willing to play it because he feels it's a strong pick, and it kind of echoes for the team that they're willing to adapt. And in the end, we see that we're kind of falling into the same drafts, the same problems, this overcommitment as well, and to the fights with completely disregarding the macro. I know there was a video from a stream from Selfmade where he mentions it. I didn't get the time to watch it. I wanted to watch it before doing this podcast to mention it a bit more, but I know this was an element that apparently Selfmade put forward, that their macro is shit, and it's true. It's really not good. When to put an example forward, I don't know if it was against Schalke or maybe SK or some other team, where we commit 4 people to a dive to kill one person on a tier 1 turret. At the same time, the opponents are spawning a herald on a plated turret, destroy it, and manage to destroy 2 turrets in the mid lane. Now, when you kill 2 turrets in the mid lane, if you don't realize that this gives you complete access to the opponent's jungle, because they have no turrets to retreat to unless it's the turret in him, but that's way past your jungle, so you're very much giving away map pressure, you're giving away vision control, and you're giving away neutral objectives control, so Baron and Drake. So to try to secure souls afterwards, when you're past the 25 and going into the 30-minute game length, you can completely say goodbye. You can still have your tier 1s at the top, at the bottom. If you lose those 2 turrets in the middle, you're in a whole other situation against professional teams who are just going to ward the hell out of your jungle, and you're not going to be able to take them by surprise. So completely counterintuitive of the super aggressive playstyle when you want to take these people by surprise. And even by having the Twisted Fate and having this global map presence, we still weren't able to create any pressure because we were putting pressure at the wrong times. Just to get a couple of kills, to pamper your KDA, awesome, cool. Yeah, you've just lost turrets, dude. And now you're losing Drakes, and even if you secure the first 2, well, now you've completely lost 4 in a row, and you don't have control over the game. So, yeah, I agree, but I also wanted, obviously, your opinions on what you thought about the other games. Obviously the upset from Mad Lions and Rogue's performance against Schalke. If you had any opinions on those past 2 games.
I mean, so I did watch some of it, but I was away. But I did catch some of it, and the only thing I will say, it's not so specific about the games, but it's kind of something touched on before. Is that I'm actually happy to see. I'll hopefully see that both Fnatic and G2 won't make it to finals. I really hope they don't. Yes, I like when shit gets stirred up, and other teams get to perform and be on top. I think it just makes the region more competitive. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know what this the mad performance, where this came from. I feel like it just came out of fucking nowhere, honestly. So I don't know if they're gonna keep going in the final, or hopefully then that. I hope that Rogue makes it to the finals, right? So if they end up meeting Rogue, I don't know how that series will be. It's gonna be fucking 3-2 to either team. It's gonna be a stomp. I have no clue at all, actually.
Yeah, it's a good point that you put forward, because I mean, I think Mad Lions just is completely surprising everyone, and but it's the fruit of their growth throughout the split that is being applied on these best of fives, in my opinion, where they're able to have more exciting drafts, and I think, I mean, I don't know, either the rookies in like Elyoya and Armut, maybe less Armut, more Elyoya, are really there to say, we're here to shine and prove that we belong. And again, we'll see the performances that they have this weekend, but so far they've been pretty consistent. Elyoya has been stellar in my opinion, and really being, I mean, I'm pretty sure that when they announce MVPs, I guess on Saturday for the finals, Elyoya won't be part of it, but we'll probably have like Reckless or Caps or some bullshit like this, the very evident ones. But what I wanted to say is that you know, seeing the performances that Elyoya has, and you probably will get Rookie of the Split actually, which it might as well be the case. But the performances he's showing right now, again, for me, is really showing that he belongs to be top two. And I don't think he'll be like a flash in the pan like was Shadow, where he kind of quickly got outed as a Lee Sin one trick, especially when he went into Worlds. And there's a part of me that would actually be really excited to see Elyoya at MSI to have that first international experience and see how he fares against the other teams, because I think he has that level to really do some surprising stuff and take the other teams by surprise actually, and see what he can bring to the table. And if my Lions continue on kind of this run and they have a better international showing, if they make MSI compared to Worlds, where it's a complete disaster, actually excited to see what they're doing. So no, as you mentioned, obviously it'll be cool to see someone else than Fnatic G2, G2 Fnatic, Fnatic G2 always winning. But the aftermath was like, there's MSI afterwards. So what happens at MSI, and are they able to bring something to the table and make Europe pride? So I know, like, I'll be supporting Mad Lions compared to G2. Like, G2 can go fuck itself. I don't care about the argument. It's like, you gotta support Europe over my dead body, dude. You see this flag at the top? You see this? You see this? I might as well have anti G2 above my head. I'll support Mad Lions with all my heart. I'm excited about this team, and I'm always excited about rookies. G2
but did you actually
can
catch
go down.
the Euphoria? Did you catch the Euphoria podcast?
I didn't. So for this podcast, I have not done my homework as I usually do. Okay. So I've completely missed Euphoria. I missed some content from like highlights of thinking of Self-Made and other players. Like, I've seen some of the tweets, obviously, that I wanted also to mention, and it's good that you brought in the Self-Made tweet as well. But it's I kind of had like a sad weekend, obviously, a very frustrated one. So I kind of, yeah, it's just I instead entered it on solo queue and demoted 2 ranks just to pass my frustration, which was definitely a great experience for me. But I don't know. Is there anything from the Euphoria?
So interesting what you mentioned, right? Because Elyoya has obviously been performing, right? And they go into MSI, so they're talking about like how it's gonna go if you make it to MSI. And he basically said like, well, if we make it there, we're basically gonna get fucking shit stomped in both top and because they are outclassed in both LCK and LPL. So I don't know. I don't think we're winning MSI this year. Let's say anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting obviously Mad Lions to win MSI. I think this year LCK and LPL are. I mean, they already look scary on a regular basis, but I think this year it's just going to be a big debate between LPL and LCK. Obviously, Worlds is very far away, and who knows, we could have an amazing Fnatic going into summer and people are like, oh my god, it's 2018 all over again, which I hope really happens. I really hope from the bottom of my heart. But yeah, they're looking pretty damn scary going into MSI. What was it? It was not TS. It was FPX winning against RNG when RNG finished first of the LPL regular split, and they got 3-0'd when everyone was like, "Oh my God, RNG is reborn without Uzi and blah blah blah," and then FPX is just like, "Go back home. It's done for you." So yeah, FPX against wait, I think it was TS versus. Who was playing against Top Esports? Someone help me in the comments. EDG, thank you. So it's going to be FPX versus EDG in the finals, and either it's the rebirth of FPX, the Phoenix rising again, or EDG, who come back to international form and are able to actually do something. So. For those who were watching around 2015, 2015 was the first MSI episode and episode. Can I call it an episode? Tournament. First version of the MSI tournament. That's what I meant.
Yep.
Whatever. And EDG actually won against SKT. So yeah, a bit of esports history for you younglings out there. But yeah, in any case, the point I was trying to make is that LCK LPL, very scary. Not expecting Mad Lions to win. Maybe they get an upset and everyone goes absolutely poggers, but at least if they can make playoffs, that'll be cool. If they can make finals, holy shit, dude! If they win it all, then goddamn, might just give them the trophy and that's it. But it'll be good for them to at least win LEC and to add a different logo on the wall of trophies that's in the LEC studios. So yeah.
Sure.
Anything else you'd like to add to this whole ordeal?
One thing, and I'm gonna pass a question to you as well. So I think everyone is disappointed with how Fnatic played, obviously, because I don't think it's been this bad as since 2016, I guess. So what I think is really nice and what I really think I'm not gonna say it's luck, right? But I feel like we are lucky to actually get both Upset and Nisqy. I think they've been performing super well, and I think they're like the kind of highlights of our team this split anyway.
For sure.
And I think meanwhile, I would say that Selfmade, he has picked it up. I think he was kind of bad in the beginning, but he's getting better as well. But with that said, right, like at least Upset and Nisqy playing well. Like, do you think either that we can, become an S tier team or play better than we are doing right now next split? Like, do you think they get their shit together, basically?
I have in my head already answered this question because I've asked it myself. There for me, there's two parts to the answer I want to give. Is that I believe that we have the caliber of players for sure to perform for two reasons. The first one being that everyone completely shit talked Upset Nisqy. I'd say even Nisqy the most because player from NA, what the hell are you doing, Fnatic? For me, he's been the best player and the most consistent of the team, and I've been impressed by him. I think we spoke about it on the previous podcast that players coming back from NA have been really stellar. You're looking at Treats, Broken Blade, and Nisqy, all three of them have been quite impressive. And Nisqy, he had that amazing 4-man shockwave on his Orianna against SK. I feel like he's always the pillar. He is the guy. While he will follow the aggression, I still think he holds it back a little bit, and that's what makes him this consistent. And while he's still able to help sideways, he's not losing too much in terms of farms. He's not 100 farm behind, or in terms of items, or just gold in general. So there's that part. Upset, especially combined with Hilly Sang, for me, have become one of the strongest bot lanes. Actually, like, funny little story, right? I had this, what we have at my job is they're called social donuts, where you actually meet with someone from your team on a global corporate side. So my job actually has a team over in the Netherlands, and I was meeting up with this guy, and he obviously we were doing this via camera, and he sees my flag, and it's like, oh, you're a Fnatic fan. I was like, oh, so you watch esports? So we started actually talking, and he was saying, we were going over Mad Lion's performance, and it's like, oh, Kaiser is having like a stellar performance, and Karzi's being kind of a bit of an unsung hero. He's playing, rather consistent, and it's like, yeah, he's definitely one of the best. Like, they're one of the best bot lanes right now. And it's like, yeah, definitely. And it's like, in contrast, you also have Upset and Hillisang, who hold the record. I don't know if they hold the all-time record, but they hold some form of record of 2v2 kills, like in lane kills. Like, how often can you say that during a regular professional game, you're gonna have lane kills? So usually there's lane kills in the sense of a 1v1 or a 2v2, like without the presence or the activity of a jungler. That's very rare. But for Upset and Hillisang, it's been a regular thing, to the point where it's actually been a point of discussion. And we've managed to get leads from this. And I was talking with my colleague, and it's like, it's insane. You can look at, in the past, the big teams that have won worlds or international tournaments, and you'll always find like that one player who, maybe he didn't always get 1v1 kills, but it had such a massive advantage in lane that they would play around him, and they would snowball his lead, and they would just completely take over the map. You're looking at Showmaker, you're looking at Khan when he was at the top of his game. Obviously, when you had both Rookie and the Shy, it's like literally the two best guys in their lane, and they just completely dominated, and they were untouchable. And they went on to just completely destroy us in the finals. So these type of teams are just have this sort of absolute star player in their lane who's able to take over, and the team's like, well, he's our guy, so we're just going to give him the resources, and we're actually going to play around him and play around his power spikes and play around his strengths to go into team fights and snowball around objectives and things like this. And then we don't do that. We should be completely ahead in terms of the advantages we get. So in that sense, I would say yes. I think we can completely be an S team. And when we were doing really well in the middle of Spring Split, I thought we were going to win LEC. Like, I was convinced. I was like, we can only go upwards from this point on. We had a shitty start to the split. We are completely crushing it. We're being aggressive while we have strong macro presence. I was like, we have the full kick caboodle here. We have the full bundle. We're ready to go. And then it's just like roller coaster. We were at the top, and then we came on crashing down completely. And because of that, the other part of me is like, I actually don't know if we're able to solve our issues in summer, because I don't know where our issues are. I understand that macro is a big part, but how do we fix that macro? I thought that everybody was getting along, and for some reason they don't click. So did they not click in their playstyle? In that sense, for me, it should be able to be fixed from the staff that we have behind them. I mean, for God's sakes, we don't have two guys that they've taken in front of the Fnatic HQ and said, you guys want a job? Okay, you're a coach and you're assistant coach. We have guys who've proven themselves and brought individually their team at respective heights. So for me, that's where my big question mark is what are really our issues? Are we having like synergy issues where actually the players don't get along, and do we go back into this bullshit like, oh, there's internal problems, and it's like, well, see you next year, guys? Or is it just really game related, and we're not finding our groove, we're not finding our identity, our synergy? In that case, it's like, well, we played first full split. We're seeing our mistakes. Are we able to identify them? Are we able to play and fix them? Or are we just going to put like the famous Fnatic band-aid and then until we get revealed and completely seen on the cards that we have at hand, then we maybe go to finals and then it's a G2 Fnatic and they 3-0 us because they're like, oh, we actually knew how you play. We were just playing with you before. So yeah, GG, go next, and we go into a new iteration in 2022. So obviously, part of me wants to think that we're going to be an S tier team, but I cannot say that convincingly without knowing or having some insight on what's exactly holding us back with the caliber of players that we have. So, I'm not going to give you an assertive response, unfortunately, Lyndon. You'll have to excuse me on that one. I'll give you a yes, but that's the best I can give you there.
I mean, I would agree though. I don't think we will make. Oh, we might make finals, but to be honest, it's really hard to tell how summer's gonna be. Like it can be completely flipped, but I don't have that much faith, I would say.
Yeah.
But we will see,
I guess so. I want to have some faith, and I think I know there's something that can be done. It's just, is it gonna be done, basically? And that's my question mark. It's like, I don't know.
I'm just gonna bring up a hypothetical before I leave. So again, like I'm not for like saying bench this guy or kick that guy. I don't like that kind of talk usually, or all the time essentially. But I can't help but think like, what if we would have gotten Alfari? Where would we be?
I mean, yes, of course.
Like I generally think that Bwipo is an S tier player when he performs, right? Yes, that he doesn't perform. Okay, maybe 1 out of 5 games is S tier, right? And then the rest is B or C or fucking F, But I don't know. I hope they just get their shit together and we can get some consistency in other lanes aside from Upset and Niski.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Absolutely agree on that one. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, what if Alfari, what if even Odo Amni? I mean, this guy has been amazing for Rogue. So yeah. I don't know. Well, I think I don't obviously like to say this as we're still technically in spring split, but obviously next year I'm not expecting Bwipo or Hilly to still be in the team. So I guess those questions will be answered next year, except next year we won't have Odoamne or Alfari joining our team. So we'll see who we get. Maybe there's something in EUM that's gonna pop up. I've heard, or actually I read some rumors that there might be a 6th man within the Fnatic team upon the request of a player, if I understood correctly. Now we know, should I say historically, that Bwipo has always said that he wanted a 6th man, like he wanted someone for his role to push him. So is that finally it? Is Bwipo? I mean, Bwipo has recognized on Twitter that his performance was definitely not up to standards. Not the first time he tweets it, he's very honest about his performance. It's like, cool, but can you do something about it though? It's great to admit it. It's something to act upon it. So are we going to see a 6th man going into summer? Are we going to have a new Bwipo story where someone who wasn't supposed to be on the team ends up being the premier top laner going forward? We'll have to see on that one. So yeah, it's gonna be some long time before we see Fnatic again, and there's probably gonna be a fuck ton of rumors around Fnatic in between, as usually happens. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yep.
Absolutely. But
Right.
thank you,
Thanks for
Lydia.
having me on,
Well,
dude.
absolute pleasure, Lyden. Some great questions, some great insights, and
Perfect.
we'll definitely have you back on the show going into summer.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Catch you later. Have fun. Bye.
See ya. And yeah, just kind of bouncing on obviously what Lynn said. You know, we've transitioned a bit more into the Fnatic segment, and I think we've covered a lot of points here between Fnatic's spring performances, the sort of lows and highs and back to lows again. Upset in this game being the star players, despite them being you know, heavily criticized when they were announced actually for the team and being the star players to self-made being really not himself in terms of performances and Boipo and Hilly-sang being a bigger issue than expected in a play style that's supposed to suit them. And in the end, well, they're the one who are making the most mistakes when they're the one who usually want to engage the most. So yeah, a little bit of everything going into summer, and a lot of questions being asked here. Obviously covered with Lydon, knowing that are we potentially going to be able to bring this team to the level that we can expect from them, from the caliber of players that we have. I mean, I think it's one of the first seasons in a long time where we've not had like a rookie or a rookie plus 1 year, I should say, in the team. We have across the line confirmed players. Bwipo, Self-Made, Niski, Upset, and Hilly-sang. So we always know that the magic recipe for Fnatic was to have like a rookie in their team. So does it necessarily have to be the case for Fnatic to be relevant? I don't necessarily think so. I think we can do a lot of things here. I just think that we need to play much smarter. But obviously the questions go into summer split and knowing what has been done during this split and what little progress feels like in the end. Are we able to actually change going into the summer split? So I don't know if some of the people who are still here would maybe like to bring in their opinion about their expectations going into summer. So if you could raise your hands here. What am I seeing? Oh, Yixi, let's have you on the show. I feel like it's been ages since we've had you there. So I'm gonna unmute you, and yes, give us your expectations for summer, Yixi.
It's enough that I'm talking on Sundays and on Wednesdays. I'm glad to be on the podcast again.
No problem.
It's been a while.
Yep.
So, what has happened to our team is abysmal, to say the least.
For sure.
To see Niski and Upset perform way better, I mean, way better compared to Self-Made Bripo and Healy, who, in my opinion, were underperforming mega epic. So it was, I don't know, maybe it was like with the corona or something like that, because it's not easy to recover from the virus. Who knows, maybe they are sick or whatever.
Mhm.
We don't know. But the performance was way bad.
Mhm.
But I'm happy with how Niski and Upset proved to be. I think they shut up more mouth than intended. They really surprised positively. As for the split in general, I would be very interested to see Mad Rogue,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Because when we look at the wall, I mean, G2 Fnatic, G2 Fnatic, G2, 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 G2. Not interesting. I mean, okay, I love when Fnatic wins. I don't like when G2 wins. That's obvious.
For sure. Same.
But I think I think it would definitely be interesting to see some of the minor teams, let's say, because we think they are minor, but they obviously did something right and they woke up. So it will definitely be interesting to see if G2 loses and we have Mad Rogue in for the split. It would definitely be very, very interesting to see. I'm eagerly waiting to see what happens. I hope G2 loses. So yeah, as for Fnatic, I don't know. I think they have been in general, not just League of Legends, but other teams, even Rising, I think they have been underperforming. Not just League. Something is definitely happening on totally other level. Not just the League team. Something else is happening. But what, we have no idea. I mean, of course, can be that players have issues, of course, but it's not just that. What's going on? Who knows? But for League, our veterans are underperforming definitely. They definitely need a little bit, no more experiments, Yamato. No more experiments, please. But yeah, when we gather all that's going on, I mean, you have a messy situation, but I hope they will really, really snap out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like um, it's the legacy on the line. It's not just oh, it's just like we are a relatively new team. Oh, it's going to be good. No, it's a legacy on the line, basically. And I don't know, do we even have rookies and new talent to promote?
I mean, if we look at just to go back on the point you made about Fnatic Rising, I mean, yeah, so it's actually there's two things. Obviously, we lost the UKLC finals, even though we have like very strong and promising players. A lot of people have, especially talking about Bean, the ADC, who's really really quite impressive, and I think we'll probably see him in the LEC next year, as well with Maxi, the jungler, has been quite impressive. I think both of them. Obviously, we have Febiven, which is kind of the sort of veteran, amongst the rookies. Yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah. So the thing is that I think maybe going into I think it's more of a 2022 kind of situation that we have here, where if we are predicting the Bwipo Haley Sang departure, hoping that we keep Selfmade behind, but I don't. It will probably. Yeah. So actually, no. I'm actually thinking about a million things here. So okay, here's my thought on this. With the current Fnatic Rising team, I don't think anyone will be promoted onto the major team this season. Even if Bwipo is not performing really well, I don't think Pride is good enough to be put on the LEC. Maybe I'm wrong. Pride has improved quite a bit, but I don't think he's LEC level, but I think he's still rather strong. He still needs to confirm on the summer. That's one thing. I don't think Rux is a necessarily good replacement for Hylissang, because I'm seeing a lot of Hylissang and Rux in the sense that he kind of ints sometimes, and he's not more of a stable player. For me, what I would like to see, and this goes more into 2022, is Kaiser is a free agent next year. I'm looking very closely at the free agents, and I would love to have Kaiser. And I think Kaiser and Upset, that's a match made in heaven. So if we can get Kaiser, maybe he will re-sign with Mad Lions. Right now Mad Lions is more attractive than Fnatic, so I can't, I can't argue against this. But in the way where that happens, we get counter, but then the question is, who do we get for a top laner?
Yeah.
And that's another question altogether.
Our top lane pool is definitely not not good. I mean,
Yeah.
who do we choose for top lane?
We have to look into EU Masters at this stage, into the ERL. Sorry, I look at ERL kind of from a distance, not as much as I follow LEC. I know there's some good top laners within the French league. There's in the UKLC not so much. I don't know about the German scene and the Spanish scene. If anyone's watching that's within the podcast right now, let me know if you know of any. But I think those will be revealed again going into summer. This is more of a long-term thing because, again, who knows, for some godforsaken reason, imagine Helisang and Bwipo decide to re-sign with Fnatic, and Helisang plays until he's 29 or something, because the guy's already 26, So he's going up in age, but I think Helisang, compared to other players, he's definitely not burnout. Like, he wants to play. He's got some int to give, So
I think Healy has that Slavic trait in him. I'm going to play until I win worlds or whatever, and then I'm going down with the bang.
Pretty much. So
I think Healy will play until, like, Federer. He's going to play until he's very, very old.
For sure.
Like,
yeah,
so
that could happen.
It would be awesome to have them re-sign, definitely. But yeah, in 2022, I think we can expect a lot of changes to happen for Fnatic team, definitely.
Yeah.
But who do we get? I mean, that's a big question mark.
For sure.
Maybe French league oriented. Ask Yellow Star for recommendations.
We could.
So who knows? Who knows how Fnatic ends? And let's hope on the positive side, not on the negative side.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, into summer, I probably won't see any changes. Again, it'll be interesting to see if the rumors of a new top laner, or sorry, I should say a sixth member who would be a sub top laner.
Maybe they are training Pete.
Oh my god. Then FF straight away. It's doomed. But no, maybe we are going to get the sixth player. Maybe it is indeed Bwipo who's requested from this, and maybe someone he's handpicked who thinks is going to be the next big top laner. And then as Bwipo leaves, maybe there's this as well. Maybe Bwipo is like, I'm on my way out, so I'm just gonna do this for Fnatic, who was kind enough to bring me under their wing and prepare them for the after Bwipo by picking them like a good top laner as a sort of departure gift. I don't know. I'm kind of romanticizing this quite a bit, but it's let's imagine that actually happens, and that would actually be kind of funny in a sense. But we'll have to see how all of this kind of evolves. The expectations for summer are quite big, and I think something people don't realize is that we've ended fifth, right? So by ending fifth in the spring, we get a certain amount of points. That's actually quite low. We're gonna need way more points to qualify to Worlds, so we're gonna have to do better than fifth going into summer. So that's a stake at this stage, is to understand that we have to do much better going into summer split, so that we at least go into the finals. And if we don't win finals, then at least we have that amount of point to probably go in as a second or a third seed going into Worlds, and we don't have to struggle to participate into this international tournament. So a lot of anxiety around that as well, for sure.
I doubt Yamato is going to allow something to go wrong. He has that winning mentality, never to give up. So I expect a lot from Yamato.
For sure.
to do.
And he's known to
So
bring teams at Worlds. You know, we remember his the Vitality team in was it 2018, and what they were able to do with literally a squad of rookies and Cabo Shard. I think that was it. But
yeah,
yeah, you had the whole team.
he has that tough streak. I
Yeah.
think he's going to pull something out, but he won't give up until he fixes them.
For sure.
So we see what we work with.
Absolutely.
And who knows? Let's hope Pete doesn't turn out to be the sixth player. That would be hilarious.
God no. We can't be having
I
that.
love Pete as a content maker, but I don't know how he is as a player. So
Very bad. He streams. Yeah. Oh my god, you can hear my cat, damn it. Yeah, my cat is annoying. She wants to come into my room, so yeah, I'm sorry about the background noise. I was hoping it would not catch onto the mic, but I guess for people watching on YouTube, then you get to hear a little bit of my cat. Sorry about that.
oh,
Apologies.
I saw that, Puma. I saw that. I saw Fnatic teaches noob.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
Especially
bad.
self-made Fnatic teaches noob. That was a banger.
But Pete plays ADC and he's had a few pentakills, so I don't know. I think there's some level, but I think he's like hard stuck silver or low gold. So yeah, that's the situation we're dealing with right now.
I would love, honestly, if we are talking about Fnatic teaches noob. Now, Boomer mentioned it. I would love to see how Niski and Upset would teach Pete to play.
For sure, that'd actually be interesting. I think especially Upset. I think he has quite some comedy in him, so it'll be a lot of contrast compared to Reckless, who's a bit more serious, I would say, in comparison, especially in that episode. But
more handsome and less passive and lame.
Exactly. That's Upset in a nutshell. Cool. Well, thank you, Yixi, for coming in. We hadn't had you on the podcast for a while, but always interesting to have your insights, and definitely we'll try to have you sooner next time and have less time in between.
I'm looking forward to having you back in class.
Yes, I've been missing. I've been a bad student. That's what's happened. So I'll be there. I'll make sure to be there on Sunday for sure.
Okay.
Thank you again.
For you on Sunday then.
No problem. I'll be there. Thank you very much, Yixi. All right. Actually, no. I need to do this. Can I do this? I don't have the power. No, wait. Is it this? Yep. And this. Have I done this correctly? I have not done this correctly. Give me a second. There we go. And there we go. Perfect. I completely forgot how to manage my mute buttons. But yeah, yes, thank you very much, Yixi, for chiming in. Yeah, I think we've pretty much done an overview. Mandingo, no, you cannot come to talk about Rashford goal. This is but he's gone, so who cares? But yeah, I don't know if there's anyone else who wants to add a last arguments about their thoughts on the season, their expectations for summer. If you want to do it, you got to say it now, or else I'm bringing this to a close. We have Fnatic tournament on Sunday. Okay. I'm not sure. Right. But yeah, if I think she's talking about FC. Oh, right. Okay. Yes. I mean, yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. I know. I understand. Sorry. Yes. We can mention that later. There's the FCL playoffs starting this Sunday. If you guys want to watch, it's being streamed. Why am I doing advertisement for them all of a sudden? I'm your couch. I am not your couch, and I am your coach. Yeah. Anyways, anyone else wants to participate in here, yeah, this is the time if you want to add any comments, anything you think that's been left out. Now's the time to do it in the comments. I'll give you 5 more seconds to anyone to reveal themselves. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I guess I'm gonna bring this to a close then. It's almost an hour episode. I'm just gonna go quickly. Should I do this? I mean, I'll go over predictions very quickly. We went from bed to couch. I'll just show the predictions for you guys on YouTube. But yeah, basically we got everything wrong. Everybody thought, well, obviously was hoping Fnatic would beat Schalke. Well, not everybody, sorry. Captain Boomer, when we had him last week, and for those watching on YouTube, it's normal that there isn't a round 1 playoffs episode. It's because I completely fucked it up and I didn't record my voice. I didn't double check OBS, so it is what it is. So yeah, so this episode hopefully is working properly. I hope that I press record. If I don't, then GG. But yeah, basically everyone got it wrong. They thought that Fnatic would win against Schalke. They thought that again, Captain Boomer and I thought, Fnatic was going to win against Schalke. That G2 was going to win against Mad Lions, and then whoever won, Schalke or Fnatic, was going to win against Rogue. Everything was wrong. It's a disaster. Fnatic is out of the playoffs. What will you do? Yeah. The situation is that basically, as Fnatic are out of the playoffs, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to do an episode next week. So, or even going into MSI. So this is something I'll submit to you guys, and there's 2 reasons for this. The first one, obviously, is I want to do a show that you're interested in, and I still want to make it Fnatic focused. So if you feel it's not really relevant anymore to have the weekly show and not talk about Fnatic, I'm completely fine with that. There's no problem. If you really want like an update of what's happening on MSI, I'll try to come up with something. It'll probably be a short format, like I'll try to keep it within 30 minutes. But yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. The second reason is that I would like to work on the podcast. And what I mean work on a podcast is that I want to kind of transform its production. Maybe not necessarily have it on Discord, maybe have it available on other platforms. Not trying to reveal too much, but having accessible for more people than just the people who are on the Discord, and then from word to mouth, people see it on YouTube if they search for Fnatic and they somehow the algorithm decides to suggest my videos. So that's kind of what's happening, is that there's definitely be some transformation of the podcast going into the summer split. So I'm completely fine if you guys don't want to show either next week to cover the finals, or during MSI to cover the week to week performances. I'm happy to take this time to kind of relax, do an overview of my shows, and work on the Inside Fnatic's Brush 2.0. So I'll probably send in a poll, some suggestions like I usually do, going into this weekend. So be on the lookout. You'll be pinged anyways. But in any case, thank you for showing up. I think the shows on the Thursday are pretty good. I'm getting a lot of participation. Very happy to have a lot of different participants on here today, despite not having like a fixed guest. I try to do something a bit new because of this situation, give the voice to as much people as possible. So yeah, Thank you for coming in. Thank you for participating on the show. Thank you for watching on YouTube if you are on YouTube right now. Enjoy the finals this week. Hopefully we get a banger. I'm sure we will. And until then, guys, see ya. And always Fnatic. Bye.